Recently, the news finally came. We've been waiting for this moment for a while, I feel like. Even if you haven't, planned on getting the game, I still feel like I'm not planning on playing this game, but I've been waiting forever to hear when it was finally gonna come out. Cyberpunk 2077 finally has a release date. It has finally been announced that tomorrow, Thursday, December 10th, Cyberpunk 2077 is finally going to be getting a full release. That's right, it's finally coming out! After being in development for what feels like forever. I feel like it's been in development for a decade. In fact, I looked it up yesterday. It's apparently been in development and production for 9 years. That's longer than Anthem took to be made. So now here's the thing, right? We need to curb our expectations, because what you have to understand is this. Me coming from, I'm someone who came from a background in actual development. I interned in a film development, with a company that did film development, an actual production company when I was in college. I've had work on project development before, actual work. So what you have to understand is when a project has been in development for 9 years, for that amount of time, it means that things weren't exactly smooth sailing along the way. Personally, I can't help but draw comparisons to games like No Man's Sky and Anthem, which took, a very long time in production, and then when they came out, they had this massive hype, because Cyberpunk 2077, let's be honest, has this massive hype behind the game. People are like, oh my god, this game's fucking amazing, it's got Keanu Reeves, the gameplay's insane, it's all futuristic and shit, it's got next-gen consoles. Guys, don't do this to yourselves, okay? Do not do this to yourselves, because I'm really afraid a ton of people are gonna get disappointed, and it's gonna be a whole shit show, just like Anthem was, and just like No Man's Sky was. I don't want to say that this game is going to be a big failure, obviously. We all want it to turn out good. We want our games to turn out good. You'd hope that after 9 years of development, development and production, this game would be amazing. But the fact of the matter is, only a game that has had significant problems and setbacks would take 9 years to be made. And this game has been delayed a ton of times recently. It's been delayed multiple times, which tells me that, they're taking way too long to do minuscule details. Maybe they were, with the story, maybe the story had changed so many times. Maybe they had been scrapping things and putting new stuff in and scrapping that, putting that back in. Leadership could have changed. Think about it. After 9 years of time, I'm sure people were leaving the company, CD Projekt Red. People probably left the company. I'm sure some department heads left. Probably there was new visions brought in, new old visions put out, and all these different things that happened in 9 years. Maybe, budget ran out at one point, then they got more money. It really just muddies the waters for the chances of success for this game to become less and less and less. And the fact that there's a pretty hefty day one patch, I've heard that it's up to 40 gigabytes of a day one patch, doesn't make me feel very, safe here about the game. It doesn't make me feel very secured about the release of the game. It says a 28 gigabyte patch on console. It's day one update for Cyberpunk 2077. That tells me that this game was being, now if we remember with Anthem, that game basically EA was like, I want this game, because they had taken forever in development. We heard some of the Anthem stories that got leaked, right? There was, people were dicking around in development for 6 years. The game was in pre-production. Nobody could get a vision down. People weren't cooperating. Then finally, EA's like, I need this game that you promised me. And they had to put on, the jets. They had to go into crunch mode. They had to go into rush mode. And it was a mess on release. Now, I'm afraid that this day one patch means the same for Cyberpunk. That they had to come down to crunch time, that it was like, okay, we have to release this game. We spent all this time and money on it. Let's just get a day one patch out there. The game isn't perfect. Let's just push it out and we can fix it, within the first week or 2 weeks or first month. That's not good. These things are adding up to be not good signs for the game. Personally, I'm not, I've never really followed Cyberpunk 2077. I'm not excited for its release. I'm not gonna get the game. For me, I'm not super passionate about the game. I've just never really followed it. Even though I'm a pretty big gamer and I have a Twitch channel, I'm not gonna be getting it on release. But After hearing so many of like my friends and people in like, fellow streamer discords that I chat with, say like, oh my god, I'm so excited for this game. Oh my god, it's gonna be amazing. It's freaking, look at the gameplay, it's so cool. I feel like I have to talk about this because people are setting themselves up for failure. Again, a game that's, has a massive day one patch, a game that's been in development for 9 years, a ton of time. You can't tell me that they spent 9 years adding like little minute details and tweaking this and no. It means there were problems. We need to start curbing our expectations and stop hyping these games up so much because we're just setting ourselves up for failure as gamers. It's very clear that people have not learned their lesson from No Man's Sky and the disappointment that that game created. They haven't learned their lesson from Anthem and the massive failure that was that launch. And I'm just still seeing it's really sad because I'm really afraid that my friends are gonna be so disappointed, because they're like, oh my gosh, the game, it's amazing, it's the most incredible game ever made, and it hasn't even been released yet. Yes, we've seen trailers, yes, we've seen gameplay, but we know that that stuff can be scripted. And, what do you call it? It can be scripted, and basically, it might not even mean that that's the actual game. For example, if you look at Angry Joe's, extended review discussion about Anthem, where they go into detail about an article that was released that, explains why Anthem was such a disaster because the freaking environment working in BioWare was so toxic. And after 6 years, they showed a trailer of the game where you were walking through a market and there was like this big like walker sentinel sort of thing going through the market. Apparently that trailer was the first time anybody on the development and production team, any of the developers, that's the first time people were seeing what the game was like. At that point, they did not even have a game, and they were showing off footage trailers. So we don't know that that's not the case for Cyberpunk 2077. Now here's the thing, I've seen the trailer for the game, right? I've seen the trailer for the game. I highly doubt that was scripted. Like, because they show so many different parts of the story and so many different characters, I don't think they could pull off what Anthem pulled off. But what I will say this, is that the trailer and any gameplay is obviously going to be running on super high graphics. They're going to script that, right? That's going to be a given. They're not going to show off an actual... If the game has a lot of bugs and it has a lot of glitches, they're not going to show that off in gameplay. They're going to get rid of it and, show a separate version that's, specifically made for, like a release thing or for like, an E3 demo or something. But the fact of the matter is, there's gonna be problems in this game. Personally, I think the best case scenario for Cyberpunk 2077 is gonna be that it's an above average game. I don't see this game coming out and being amazing. I'm sorry. I know like that might just be very pessimistic and it might not be fair because no one's seen the game yet. That's the thing. Nobody has actually got a physical copy of the game. So you could say that I'm being unfair by just automatically saying that this game is gonna be, a failure. It's gonna be disappointing. It's not gonna be as good as we think it is. But you could also say the same thing about people saying, oh my god, it's gonna be the greatest thing ever. You've never played the game yet. Don't give yourself these expectations with video games that you haven't played before. I feel like we're at a time now where, like, personally, I'll never pre-order a game. I'll always wait for other people to play the game so they can say, they can be like, oh, this game sucks, this game is super glitchy, this game is super buggy, wait 2 months before you buy it. I never buy games on release anymore for this exact reason. So please, feel free to buy this game, but just understand that it's not gonna be perfect. There's probably gonna be issues on launch. I don't expect it to be amazing. In fact, I expect there to be problems. With 9 years of development time and a massive day one patch, there's probably gonna be some issues. If the game turns out great, that would be incredible. Like, the fact that that developers can prove me wrong by saying like, no, we took the extra development time because we had some misdirection in the beginning of the game. We really took our time to really make sure that this game, came out amazing. If you buy the game, I wish you the best of luck. But just, curb your expectations. Understand that instead of expecting the best game you've ever seen in your life, let's just hope that the game is above average and that it does some things that have the potential to be, you know, expanded upon in the future. Hope that if there's a story mode, hope the story's decent, and hope that it at least has some amount of replayability. Anyways, that's the point of the video. I had to get this out because, you know, after so many instances of like, oh, we're hyping this game up and then we're super disappointed by it. You know, we have The Division, Anthem, No Man's Sky. I want the cycle to end somewhere, right? And if this video, you know, I have a little bit of experience in like project development and film development. It's not exactly the same, but it's mostly the same. If I can take my unique perspective into what 9 years of development mean, you know, what a day one patch means, if I can, you know, tell you what that really means behind the scenes to help you, you know, kind of properly have expectations for this game and to help, you know, shield you from, you know, crushing disappointment, I would love to do that, which is why I had to make this video before the game came out. If you do buy Cyberpunk 2077 and you watch this, let me know how the game is in the comments below. Let me know if it's amazing, because, I mean, hopefully it is amazing. We want our games to be amazing, but, you know, we have to understand when a project's been in development this long that that might not happen. So yeah, let me know if it's, you know, awful, good, or even just how I predicted, slightly above average. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you in future videos. Have a great day, enjoy the game if you buy it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.